My name's Elizabeth Ralston, and I actually just took in a little 6-year-old girl back in June, and she just started opening up to us. Probably about 4 nights ago, actually. She started saying, "What if?" to everything. And she goes, "What if she leaves me in the middle of the night?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "When I'd wake up, my mom was always gone every single time I woke up in the morning. And I never knew what was gonna happen, if I was gonna be able to see her again, or if the cops were gonna come again, if she was going back to jail. What if she doesn't come back home?"
Oh, it all began the day that we were sitting at a stoplight and the squad car in front of us had a Mavis Pearl dog in the back. And I just looked over at my husband and I said, "Man, I wish we could get a Mavis dog in every squad car." And my husband said, "You know what, let's just make it a hope and a prayer and see what happens." So we did, and literally about 2 weeks after that conversation, I was contacted by Brianna Lunsford with Usborne Books More, and we had been also contacted with TPD. They wanted to partner, and they wanted to partner and put together a project where we would put backpacks that were filled with items that would bring comfort and hope to a child in crisis.
This project is really dear to my heart because I actually was a foster child when I was 9 years old. I was taken out of my school with my older brother, and it was very, very scary. We ended up with total strangers, but they were just wonderful people. But we had absolutely nothing, just what we wore to school that day. We had nothing with us at all. None of our things, none of our clothes.
I actually had many reports done on me, but we moved around so much, none of them ever actually got taken care of. Like, I'd go to school with handprints across my face. I was always hungry. I actually got taken away because I was going door to door asking for food because we didn't have any at home, and a guy decided to give me a lot more than food, and he ended up raping me. And so I had gone to school that day, and I was just rocking back and forth crying, saying I wasn't a good girl. My teacher ended up sending me to the office, and I had one of the office ladies who had taken special interest in me, probably because she could see what I was going through, but didn't know quite what was going on. She could just tell that something wasn't right. She actually managed to get the truth out of me an hour and a half later, and then the police showed up. And I got in a stranger's car, and I remember thinking, oh my God, my mom is going to kill me. How could I let this happen? I've always gone to stuffed animals for comfort because, well, you can tell them your secrets, and they don't talk. Just like I did with my animals at my house. And I know for one thing, stuffed animal would have definitely been a help because I could have actually sat there and done something, and it would have helped distract me. So that would have definitely helped. I think it would have made me look at the officer in more of a friendly tone because I was terrified, and I couldn't get past the fact that my worst fear was actually happening.
Probably one of the more heartbreaking situations that comes to mind for me is had a call, dad downtown with his 2 kids wanting to turn him over to the police or DHS. I just remember sitting with the kids for several hours, and right before, I strapped the kids in the car seats in my car and drove them away from the only dad they've ever known, I asked, do they have a backpack? Do they have a stuffed animal? A favorite toy? Did you bring them a change of clothes? Yeah, I got something in the car. So we go out to the car, and it's a McDonald's bag and the McDonald's toys that he had bought on the way there. And so these kids, literally, even if they're not in a abusive situation that so many we meet are, some of them just go from having something to having nothing, where there's even more kids I can think of that just have nothing.
So many of the police officers really don't get the recognition that I wish they did because they literally see some of the most heartbreaking situations. And a story that I heard recently was a little girl had been picked up, and so many times they've got such a fear of law enforcement. They've been involved in a situation with drugs and violence and domestic abuse. And they've seen the police officers, they've seen law enforcement, but in a negative way. And this police officer came up to this child, and the child was just angry and livid. But this officer had something to give the child. And the little girl literally, instantly, just the walls broke. And the first thing she said was, "Is this for me?" And the officer was like, "Yes, it's for you." And instantly that relationship was changed from fear to hope.
My ultimate hope for the backpacks is that every child that receives one will feel that somebody still cares for them and that they have something to help comfort them and bring them joy in what could possibly be the most traumatic time in their life.
We are so in need of finding sponsors to fund this project monthly, yearly, because it's one that does not end. It's amazing because it's only $50 to fill a backpack with items that are books, activity books, the stuffed plushie that goes with the book about fear, Mavis, her coloring book. We've got t-shirts that we have custom made just for this project for the kids to have because many of them don't even have clothes. So for $50 a backpack, we can get these into the hands of these kids through our police officers. And so when I was looking at these little Mavis dogs and we were getting the backpacks together, and I was thinking about that this dog may be the only safe place that these kids have ever known. And I don't think that there's anything more fulfilling than thinking that this might change a child's life.
It would be amazing if our kids could have something like this when they're picked up, so they're not scared, so that they know that everything's going to be okay. They have something of their own. If they don't have mom and dad with them anymore, maybe they could think of this as a memory to have of them. Because I know our little girl is so scared every time. She wants to know, what if I don't get to see mommy anymore? Well, she's got someone there to support her. And we'd really appreciate it if you could help us get these to these children.
Become a Joy to the Rescue sponsor today.
Would you please help me and sponsor a backpack today?
Please sponsor these backpacks and help these kids.
Can you please be a sponsor and help kids like me?
Can you please be a sponsor and help kids like us?